down my shorts. "Are you a boy or a girl? What kind of name is that? Malin? I think she's a boy. There's only one way to tell." I was small for my age, or rather small compared with the other children. I didn't stand a chance in a stand-up fight. So I kicked the oldest in the bollocks, bit the second one on the hand, ducked between the other two, and was away. I went and stood at the schoolroom door, where they wouldn't dare tackle me again. There was no point in telling Miss Woodend. It wasn't so much that the others could do no wrong, more that I could never, as far as she was concerned, be in the right. When she found me waiting at the door before the start of lessons, she didn't praise my punctuality or say that I seemed keen to learn. She just eyed me suspiciously and let me in. I was there under sufferance, I knew it. At best, I was tolerated. I didn't have friends, because I didn't have a mother, and my father was the ferryman. He was considered only one step up from the lad who scared the crows and docked puppies' tails with his teeth. The other children said that I was dirty, that if I touched them they'd get jibs. Not that I wanted to touch them. I didn't want to go anywhere near them. Bunch of lard-headed inbred mouth-breathers. Usually when they saw me they'd just squeal and run away from me, even though I'd never even considered chasing them. But from time to time, they'd round on me to inflict some form of pain or humiliation, though it was rare that they came up with anything as imaginative or inquiring as pulling down my shorts. I've had far more than my fair share of Chinese burns in my time. Sometimes, as I was sitting on Miss Woodend's dresser, I would reach down the toe of my sandal and stroke it along one of the Clay twins' poker partings. It was discreet, easily done, and extremely satisfying. The girl would squirm in silent horror, unable to protest, because, as we both knew, the moment that she opened her mouth, Miss Woodend would be on to her. Miss Woodend was a precise and powerful chalk thrower. Crimes such as speaking, smiling, sneezing, coughing, sniffing, looking around, wriggling, and, on one occasion, breathing too loudly, were punished, almost before they could be committed, by a sudden blow from a scrap of chalk. The school's regime had its benefits, though. Condemned to stare for hours at a time at the plodding letters on my slate, my peripheral vision became extremely well developed. Being able to look all round me without moving my head has come in handy now and then, though at the time it was of limited use. I had no interest in my classmates, or in the schoolroom, or in the muddy green outside the window. There was only one thing there that I wanted to look at: the schoolroom map, framed and glazed and nailed to the wall above the Metcalf's settle. It seemed to me the most fascinating object in the world, and I never got the chance to stare at it straight. In the corner of my eye, I could just make out the barest outlines: a squarish landmass circled by green seas, a scooped-out central lake, an island country washed by waves. One day, I told myself, I would hop down from my seat, scramble up the Metcalf boys, and stand on their shoulders to get a good clear look. Peppered with chalk fire, I'd find the dot that marked out home. I'd pick out the pathways, the roads and the trackways my mother would have taken. I'd trace the way away from here. Miss Woodend, invisible against the window's glare, creaked. I kept my eyes down, my toes to myself. I copied, my chalk grating on the slate. J, J, K, K, L, L, M, M. Because when Miss Woodend creaked, she was leaning right back in her rocking chair, perching on the tips of its runners, a bit of chalk in her hand, waiting for the next glancer upper. Target sighted, she would fling the chair forward as she threw the chalk. Weighted with the full force of Miss Woodend's momentum, it would sting worse than ever, worse than a wasp sting on your cheek or your calf or the tip of your ear. Which was why, when we first heard the music, no one moved a muscle. To be fair, it wasn't really music at first, just the faint clatter of bells that could well have been the Robinsons' goats frisking on the green, shaking their stinky mad heads. So I sat, back arched, and continued.